Darling YouTube, I am the Toff Man and welcome to a channel update for October. There's quite a lot to go through today and I'm going to bore your ears off, that is for sure at some stage. But keep going guys, because there's a few things. The first thing I want to talk about is Patreon. The second thing I want to talk about is university and my experiences within university up to this point. So the first thing I want to talk about, of course, is Patreon. And for those of you following me on Patreon, for those of you following me on the Twitch subscribers as well, please be aware that all I can do at this current moment in time is the 3 videos a week that I am doing. I can't do any more than that. If you are following me on Patreon and of course Twitch, I would seriously consider not doing, because in my eyes and in my view, I am not putting enough content out for you guys. So do consider just not following me on there, because I can't live up to what I would expect from other people. So if I expect that from other people and I'm not delivering that myself, I can't expect that back. I would seriously consider not following me on Patreon, because I'm simply not putting the right content, the amount of content that should be going out to warrant such a thing. That being said, for those of you who are currently, supporting me through Twitch and Patreon and stuff like that, the server that's linked to that as well will last for as long as there is enough there to be able to cover the cost of the server. If there's not enough to cover the cost of the server, then I'll have to shut that down. That's quite obvious. So that's what I'm saying, guys. I don't have the content. I don't have the interaction. And I won't have that interaction, unfortunately, especially for the next 3 years, because that is the length of the course of university. And guys, I stupidly thought that I would have had a lot of time spare when I went to university to be able to do everything. That's not the case, and I'm going to go into some of that when I go into the experiences of university and stuff as well. I'm like cutting myself off. I'm like, just trying to talk here, guys. That's a little bit. I've got a bit of a glare going on and all. Woohoo! Nice. So that's what I am suggesting for you guys to do. If you are following me on Patreon, consider not following me on Patreon, because I can't give you that quality and the quantity of content going forwards for the foreseeable future. There's quite a lot to do in university, which brings me on to my second point, and what my experiences are within university. And I'm probably going to do more videos on this, because there's certain people that are going to be in the same situation that might feel like it's only happening to them, maybe, or something of the, whatever it is. It might be interesting to you, it might not be interesting to you, but I'm going to talk about it anyway, because why not? I'm practically just sat here talking to myself on a camera. So it might be nice to put some sort of order to things. But anyways, I digress. Talking about university, guys, I have started university. It is a massive shock. It is a massive undertaking. And just like I said, a massive shock to the system, really. It has been a massive shock to the schedule, to my lifestyle, to how I view everything going forwards. And I've got to come to terms with that rather quickly. For any of those people who know me personally, they know me as a person who is quite shy, is quite, introverted. I don't really say much. I don't get involved much with anything. You wouldn't think of it, really, when I'm doing my YouTube and stuff like that. You won't think of anything like that, but I'm quite shy. I'm quite introverted. I don't like to be involved with certain social situations and such and so forth. But I refuse to be like this within my university course. And guys, I have to say something that I never say about myself, really, and it's quite sad. It sounds quite sad, but it's not. It's good, guys. I am proud of myself and the way that I have put myself out there, the way that I have engaged within this university course has changed me as a person, and I fully want to keep the change that I've happened. I suffer from anxiety. I suffer, badly from anxiety in some cases. I get very agitated in large groups, I get very agitated when I feel like I'm surrounded. I don't know, you know, I may be alone in this, guys, but if there's somebody out there that's going through university, that's going through the same thing, this may be useful. Who knows? But I'm going to talk about it anyway. And if you guys are bored or not wanting to hear about the experiences, then you might as well just switch off now, because the rest of the video is literally going to be this. But I just want to talk about my experiences, because it's difficult when you go from a background, when you go from being quite a solitary person. Remember, guys, that my job before this, I was a delivery driver. I spent the vast majority of my day on my own in a van, delivering things. Do you know what I mean? That was literally 6 days a week. I was doing that for a good few months, and then before that, I was working in a sandwich shop. Also, mainly as a delivery driver, I spent most of my time on my own. Social situations bothered me, but I refused. I thought to myself, this is a good time to have a new start. Anxiety and everything, you can push that to one side for only for so long before it starts to creep back in, and I'm waiting for that. I am waiting for that sort of thing to creep back in, for the old habits, as you say, to sort of creep back in. But I am keeping them at bay as much as physically possible. The best way of dealing with it, that I think, is to sort of talk about the day, talk about what's been happening, and just sort of have a nice bit of reflection on what's happened during the day as well, and think, oh, you know, I could have done this like this, or so on and so forth. Give yourself time, give yourself breathing space. I like to sit in a bath for a good half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe even an hour. Starts going cold, put some more hot in. You know how it is, guys. Just to chill out, to have that time by myself, to get away and not have any social interaction whatsoever. Because as silly as it sounds, and I don't know if some people out there maybe suffer with the same thing, if I am in a social environment for a long periods of time, I cannot keep myself in that social situations. I can't do it. So I have to bring myself out of a social situation to recharge. It drains me being in conversations, being involved, being, you know, in those sorts of situations. It drains me. So I have to go away, and I have to get that sort of battery back up and recharge. A good way of doing it is to just get away from everybody, get away from everything. But obviously, if you're with family, friends, or anything like that, you explain a good way of doing it. And what I do is I say, look, love, you know, to my missus, I say, look, love, I'm just not feeling up to any conversation at the moment. I just want to get out of the way. I want to chill out. And, you know, I'll see you soon. She's very good with it, to be honest, is my other half. She's very, very good with it. And she can tell when I'm in these situations and when I'm like that, because she will literally tell me to go away, in the nicest possible way, of course. But university has been absolutely fantastic. Make no bones about it, guys. It is an experience within itself, and it's been absolutely wonderful. I am one of these people, I enjoy to push myself intellectually. And if you are, you're going to love university. It's one of the best places to be, that you can sort of push yourself in intellectual terms, of course. I do like that. I do like that. And I'm finding that I'm getting into it. There's certain steps. There's a lot to take in. There's so much to take in at the start. And it's getting into a routine. That's the hardest part at this moment in time that I am finding. Thinking that I have, you know, got more time than I possibly have. Now, be organised. If there's one thing I can take from what I've had experience of over the last couple of weeks, is organisation. Guys, I am so organised, and I am loving it. It's making things a lot easier. What we're going into some seminars and stuff and lectures and bits and bobs that we're talking about, is saying, get this together, get this, get this sort of thing together, have a plan, what it is, and I've already done half of this stuff. It's fantastic because you can add to the bits that you're already doing, and that is key. I think personally that is absolutely key, because you've got the basis, you've got the foundation, and you're adding things that you wouldn't have necessarily thought about to what you're already doing, rather than just furiously scribbling loads of notes about what you should be doing and what you should be doing and what you should be doing. Have a good basis to start with, move forward with that basis, add things to that basis. Absolutely massive, absolutely key, and it will stand you in good stead. It's standing me in good stead so far. I'm really enjoying it, guys. I went for student rep as well, and that we had a meeting this morning, actually. It's once a month, so it's not the end of the world. But you do sort of pick things up for what people are saying in your class, what they're saying about the course, what they're saying about how things work, and you must relay this sort of information, the pros, the cons of what the university are doing, all that sort of stuff. I'm interested in that. I like that sort of stuff. It does mean me being a bit more social than what I would normally be. In fact, a lot more social than what I normally am, because I am not social, but like I said before, and I'm going over the same subject here, but I'm just going to say it again, I'm proud of myself for putting myself out there and being involved a lot more than what I usually would. Whether I'm going to say that in a month or so down the line, who knows, guys? I might come back in a month and say, guys, I'm just so tired of dealing with people. Who knows? But at the moment, I'm enjoying it, I'm doing it, and I'm liking it. Went for student rep, and we had our first meeting, and you get to find out little bits and bobs about what's coming up and so on and so forth, about what's happening, about how the system works. And if you're anything like me, and I'm quite OCD with this, I like to know what's coming. If I don't know what's coming, I get very, very agitated. Before I started university, I couldn't sleep. There was a whole host of different problems that started creeping up because I just didn't know what was coming up. I had no idea about anything, what was going to happen. Now I'm in it and I can plan for the future. I'm okay, but I have to plan. I have to know what's coming up. Being involved in student rep is a good way, being a student rep is a good way of seeing how the system works, how things are put the way that they are put, and how things are going to move on going forwards, and how things could change, and you could be a part of that change. I like that. I want to be involved. Because she said about going through the scheduling system. And I'm probably boring you here, guys. I do apologise. But she said about going through the scheduling system. And she actually invited people who are interested in this sort of thing into next year's scheduling, so that they can see what work goes into the scheduling and so on and so forth. That sort of thing might not interest people, but it interests me because it took me an hour to go through the goddamn schedule to be able to get everything together in one place. And what I put together, some of the other people that are in my course as well actually took what I made, and they're using it as well, and it made it dumb for them. Now, I'm not meaning that in bad terms, but for me, I like simple information. I don't want it like all over the place, here, there, and everywhere. Get it in a line, get it in a format that I can see. I just have it there, right in front of me. I can see it, done. That's how I like it. That was not how the schedule was. So, but I can. It's not an easy process, guys. It is not an easy process scheduling everything what they have to schedule. So there is that to put into thing. But I'm going to find out about that. I'll come back next year and tell you guys about it. Where is on my final point, guys, as well. The people like. The final point of the university thing, and then I'll wrap this up. The people within the course that I'm doing, the lecturers are great. They know exactly what they're talking about. They know their subjects, and the more importantly, the people I'm working alongside are brilliant. They really are. The whole course, and I can see it when I'm looking around. The vast majority of the course, should I say, are there to learn the course, to pass the course, and get out of the other end of it with as good a grade as physically possible. Those people, and they will know if they ever see this, and I'm not saying that they will. I'll get to it, another person actually who's involved in YouTube, and whether or not she wants to be, I'll put a link in the description. Guys, if you can see a link in the description, go over and check this person out. I'll get to that in a second though. But the people around me, it is imperative for me to surround myself with people who are like-minded, who want to do the course because they're there to do the course. They're there to better their lives. They're there to get the degree out of it, and they're there for a goal, for an absolute concrete goal and a concrete purpose of getting things done. I don't want to be, and I sound harsh. I sound really harsh by saying this. I don't want to be around anybody who doesn't want to get the work done, who doesn't want to, go forwards in life and use the experience that they've got. I don't want to be with somebody who's going to waste my time, if I'm going to be quite honest. The vast majority of the people on that course are not like that. They are wanting to be there and get this course done. They're wanting to learn. They're interested in the course, and so on and so forth. And that is at a point I can get behind that, and I like that, and it's important. We've got anybody who does university knows that you have presentations. They scare the life out of me. Do presentations. The thought of getting up and speaking in front of other people. It might sound easy for you guys looking at me. This is something I've done for years. Is YouTube. I've done YouTube for years, but I'm not actually speaking to anybody. I'm not doing this in a public format. It scares the life out, especially with anxiety, guys. It scares the life out of me. It was important for me within the group presentation that we have to get a good group, and I tell you something, I've got a good group, and I like the people. There's two people that are in my group that I've spoken to since the start of the course, that I get on well with, that are there to learn, that are there to do the job. And I'm with those. I actually they put all the names in a hat, got the names picked out, and these two people came out in my group as well, so I was absolutely ecstatic. And the other person that we've got in the group is also brilliant as well. And, we'll get in there and get involved, and that's what I like to see. That is what I like to see. Getting on to that point, actually, one of the people that is in my group, called Lucy, she has a YouTube channel. I will ask her first before I put it out there and put it onto this channel. But down in the description, if she has said yes, I would presume she probably would, otherwise she won't put it on YouTube. But I'll put it down in the description. Go and check her out, guys. She is, I looked at a couple of her videos that she's done up till now, and she's going through something similar. Like she's doing, university experience in a different sort of way. So go over and check that out, guys. But that is probably what I'm going to be. If you see vlogs and stuff coming up in the future, it's probably and predominantly going to be university sort of experience based, because that is what's taking up a vast majority of my time. There's some really good experiences in there that I would like to share with you guys. There's been so many good experiences up to this point. I've forgotten half of them, to be quite honest. Forgotten half of them. And I'm sure bits and bobs will come to me, going into the future, and then I can put it in a future video for you guys. But to summarize all this, guys, basic the TLDR, that's the word. The TLDR of all of this, guys, is I am proud, and it's very rare I say this. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of the way that I've tackled this. I'm proud of the way that I have gone into this, just all guns blazing. I have gone into this. We'll see whether or not my anxiety will rear its ugly head at some point in the future. We'll see. We will see. I can't say much more than that, guys. If you're still watching it at this point, because it's been a 20-minute video and all I've done is talked about, my experiences in university. Why that would be interesting to you guys, I would never know. If you've made it this far, you're an absolute legend. You really are. And for those of you guys who have supported me on Patreon and Twitch throughout the years, a massive, massive thank you. And I can't stress that enough. You've really helped me throughout some absolutely terrible times and some absolutely brilliant times as well. You've always been there. Massive, massive thank you. And I would not feel ill of you whatsoever if what I am giving you is not enough to warrant following me and continuing on through Patreon and stuff like that as well. I would not feel any ill, and I wouldn't be annoyed or anything like that. Obviously, guys, I honestly, guys, I would not. You've done so much for me in the past up till this point, and I have to thank you and commend you. And you're such an amazing group of people, and I'm sure I'm still going to be speaking to you guys for many, many years, because some of you are absolutely fantastic people. You know, and I can't say much more than that. I can't praise you guys enough. So, yes, go and check Lucy out in the description if she allows me. I can't see why not, but go and check her out in the description. And I will see you guys in a future channel update where I will be doing game stuff as well. I will be keeping you updated in the game situation and all that sort of stuff. But I will see you in a future update. Until then, guys, I've been the Tough Man as always. Stay safe.